Welcome back to Jokkmokk. In this video we're going to talk about camera gear and low temperature. Actually we call it winter when it's low temperature. My name is Matti. I'm living up in the northern Sweden. I'm working as a dog musher, nature guide, and I also make this content together with my partner Stina. Outdoor life is actually what we're doing for a living. I made a fire here close to me because it's cozy. I'm not going to stay here or do anything. I just out here recording and preparing trails. One of the first things we look at is a camera bag. This camera bag is from Companion. It's a German brand and it's a quite small company. I really like the bag. One of the most important parts with the camera bag during winter is that you put the camera bag down like this and then you open it. Look here. Because when you open it, the camera gear is here. Because if you have put it down in the snow is under here. And this is usually hanging a little bit up. If you don't zip it down all the way, it's standing more like this. And then you don't get snow on this. Because this is not good if you had to put this into the snow and then head it back to your back and start walking or whatever you do. I don't know. When we're talking about camera gear and winter, the battery is one of the weakest points. When the battery gets cold, it loses the juice and yeah, you can't record anymore and the camera is dead. So you actually need tons of batteries. And I will show you three different kind. This I'm shooting Sony, and the original batteries from Sony, I think they are the best, but expensive. Then you have the battery from other brands who make copies, like this one is from Yupido. You pay much less for a Yupido battery, and this Yupido battery it stays a little bit less probably than the Sony battery, but on the other hand you can buy more of them and keep them warm. So during the winter it's actually better with several Yupido than a few original batteries. Then this is a very interesting battery. This called it's from Nightcore. I don't know if you see it. This is from Nightcore, and this battery have a USB-C thing here, so you can charge it straight from a power bank. So and then if you are out on longer tour, extended tours, several days or a week out in the wilderness, then you can recharge this battery straight into the battery. This is really handsome, really good. This battery itself is maybe a little bit less power than the other ones, but it's nice that you can recharge it. So I prefer to have few of each actually. I keep my battery in a kind of bag like this that is waterproof or something, and I very often have it inside my jacket if it's really cold. So I can take out a new warm battery, plug it into the camera, take the cold battery, put it away here. If you do that, it's good that you cycle around like 3 batteries or something, not like this where it's 10 batteries in it, because you circulate 3 batteries and then you know that these 3 batteries, when they are empty, they are empty. And then you have other really fully charged batteries. So keep the battery warm, and that will help you a lot. We're coming back a little bit to the thing with keeping them warm. And then I was talking about charging things, and then we have power banks. This is one from Nightcore. It's NH10000. I put links down in the description if you want to get them. This is a lightweight 10,000 milliampere battery, just a normal power bank. This one called Summit 10,000. This one is interesting during winter, because when you plug in something into this power bank, this heat up itself a little bit, so the battery is warm. Because it's the same thing with the power bank. If the power bank is cold, it don't have so much juice. This one, the Summit 10,000, this one have a preheating thing in itself, so it solved the problem. I can really recommend Summit 10,000 from Nightcore if you need to charge things outdoor, telephones or whatever. If you want to charge a telephone, it's important that the telephone is not frozen cold, because then it will not take so much electricity from the power bank. And then we're coming to the next thing. It's a lot of gear in my bag, a lot of secret gear. Then you have other power banks and hand warmers, because this is a power bank from Unigear, this is one from Upido, and this one from Upido you can switch it on like this, and then it's on, and it's a hand warmer. This one you can keep together with the batteries. Now I switch it off. This is just on and off. You can also plug in USB here and charge your telephone or whatever what you want to charge. So this is power bank and the heater. This is a little bit more sophisticated. You see, it's a number 44 here and 25. So this one I can higher and lower the temperature on. This is also hand warmer. It is a power bank with USB and USB-C connection, and it's also hand warmer, and it gets warm quite fast. And this you can have up to 50, 60 degrees, I think 53, 55 degrees. Then it stops, and I really now feel it's warm. And then you see now it's 29 degrees, 30 degrees, and really good if you want to warm up equipment or batteries actually, because we're coming back to the camera itself and warming up cameras. We had to talk about that. Then we come to the camera. And as I told you, the issue is that the battery gets cold. It's no problem if the camera itself gets cold. Of course it could be a few cameras, but 99% of the camera can handle low temperature, and the lenses too. So I recommend people keep the camera cold, keep the lenses cold. Don't take the camera, put it inside here, because inside your jacket, close to your body, yes, it's warm, but it's moisture. When you take a cold camera into moisture air inside your jacket, you bring it like this into a house, then you have a lot of condensation on the camera. As long as the camera is cold, if you get some cold snow on the camera, like this, it's no issue because it's not melting. Now you see it's too warm, so it's melting. But I blow away the snow with something like this, or shaking it. See? I never blow like that, because if I blow with my mouth, I'm blowing out moisture air from my mouth on the camera and get condensation. Now I have the wet thing here, then I have this skin that you use for waxing cars. I've been talking about that earlier videos, and then I can take away the wet things. So this is how I do when I get snow on my camera. So as you see, I use this rocket for blowing away the snow, and I use this skin for taking away moisture from the camera. That's equipment for that. I also try to avoid changing lenses out here. It's falling snow from the trees, you have snowstorm, drifting snows, and all that things that happen in the nature. So if it's possible, avoid that. That's why I very often have different camera bodies. I have one with a normal zoom for vlogging or shooting close-up things, and then I have another camera body with a tele lens. So that's how I prefer to do it. But it's, of course, each camera costs money, and it's heavy and you have to carry it. But that's all over. When I'm in nature, I try to avoid changing lenses because you don't want shit into the camera. So for example, if I want to go inside and look at the picture on the computer, I just bring the memory card inside. And for that, I have one of these waterproof memory card cases. I put the memory card in this, I put this in my pocket and bring it into the house. And then I keep my camera bag outside as long as possible. Because if I know I'm going to shoot Northern Light during the night or something like that, and I don't need the camera bag inside, leave it outside the cabin, leave it outside your house, leave it cold. Bring batteries, bring memory card inside. And I never ever have issues with memory card and low temperature. That have never happened to me. 1.5 weeks ago we had -47 in Jokkmokk. I was shooting a video about how you're starting your car when it's 40 below 0 Celsius, and you can see it on our channel if you want to see how the camera works. I see no difference. I was out an hour with this camera and I didn't even need to change battery because the battery was warm when I started. When I bring the camera inside, there is a few techniques. I have one of these dry bags. I take the whole camera like this. I put the whole camera into the dry bag, you see, with all gear into this. So I try to get rid of as much air as possible out of this bag. So now my camera is waterproof. It's protected from condensation. I will get condensation outside the bag, but not inside the bag. Then I bring it in like this and I keep it so it heated up all through the body. Because if I take out the camera, a cold camera, you get condensation. And very often I also keep it just in my camera bag like this and bring the whole camera bag in. And keep it closed some hours until it's warm. And how long should I keep it closed? How long should I keep it like this? Of course, it depends on how warm you have inside and how cold it was outside. Big temperature difference, longer time. Small temperature difference, shorter time. If you don't have this fancy dry bag, you could also use a normal plastic bag. Zip bags are really good. This one is not the one that has the slider, but normal zip bags, a little bit more robust plastic, is good. So you can use that. Some garbage bags are too thin, or I don't know, I can close them, but I had got condensation through some of these thinner plastic bags, and that's not super nice. When you put the camera into a bag and bring it inside, it shouldn't be any snow at all on the camera, because that melts and then you have a wet camera. Wet camera, not good. Most of the little bit more expensive cameras today and the lenses are weather sealed. If the lenses is weather sealed, it's less risk that you get condensation into the lenses and into the camera. I promise you, it's very annoying to get condensation in the lens between the elements, because that could take time until you get rid of it. I have tried that back in the old days and it's nothing I recommend you to try. Then we had to talk about drones. I use a Mini 3 Pro like this, and I also have this 3 battery pack like this. And what I do 1 hour before I use it, I put it close together with a hand warmer. I wrap it into something like this. If it's possible, I always want to make the battery warm before start. I don't take cold batteries like this, put them inside the jacket, because then I get condensation. If I want to heat up the battery close to my body, put the battery inside the bag. Put the battery inside the plastic bag, waterproof bag, and then inside, because you don't want condensation on the battery. I also have this kind of bag for my drone. It's a small X-Bid, almost waterproofish zip bag, because this drone is not weather sealed. So whenever I bring it into the cabin, I really want it to be protected from condensation. When I try to start it in low temperature, one of my engines are not working if it's too cold, so I had to heat that up a little bit with my hand. I know it's not the best thing because you get condensation from the hand also, but this is how I do. 3 engines start perfectly, but one is saying that something is wrong. And that's happened not with all drone of course, but with mine, my engine could be a little bit too cold. It start and shut down, but when I have warmed it up, it's take off really fine. Don't put the drone in the snow when you're starting. Everybody who have done that and tested that know that you can get snow all over the place in the drone and over the drone from when the propeller starts. learn to launch it from your hand, or learn to launch it from your camera bag somehow, or if you have one of this landing starting thing. I usually send it away from my hand, and I also land it in my hand to avoid all contact with snow. Of course, sometimes the snow is very hard, icy, and then it's not the issue. The snow condition we have today is fluffy snow that loves camera gear and that loves to go into the props of the drone or into the lenses. I have flied my drone below 25 Celsius, and the thing you had to remember is keep an eye on the drone, because suddenly the battery is out and the drone is like a dead fly, bloop, going down. So fly closer to yourself, and you also should learn to use how to find my drone, of course, with this one, with the hand unit. Of course, you have a find my drone thing there. This hand unit, the battery in this, is remarkable resistant to low temperature, I would say. The LSD, when it's 40 degrees cold, all LSD monitors on the cameras and everything are acting a little bit strange, but they usually record correct into the camera anyway. There is one camera that I make difference with, and that's action camera. This is a GoPro Hero something, and now I have a media kit on it, totally useless, but I have the media kit on it, and that makes this camera not water resistant. If you don't have the media kit, you can put it into the water and whatever, and of course it's resistant to condensation. So this you don't need to treat with plastic bags and everything. So I love to have one of the action camera DJI, GoPro or Insta360, and this one you can handle in and out however you want. But it's the same with this, the battery need to be warm. And for my GoPro and for the DJI, we find some of these small battery kits, and you can have 3 batteries here, and you plug it into a power bank and you charge them. So it's really good. I had to mention for the DJI, they have these white batteries that are good for cold temperature, and you have the blue normal one. This white makes difference in winter time. I can really highly recommend this white Arctic blah 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 GoPro batteries for low temperature. And then we have the tripod. When you have super low temperature, today it's -5 Celsius, 7 Celsius, it's almost like summer in Swedish Lapland, so I can be with bare hands. Usually when you work with cameras, you like to be with bare hands or have a thin pair of gloves. Learn to work with gloves. But even with gloves, thin gloves, you want some isomat taped like this on the legs. So then it makes huge difference if you can hold in this one instead of holding straight on the metal like this. If it's 40 below Celsius and you grab on here, you could instantly get a frostbite in your hand. But 15-20 degrees, then it's more like just uncomfortable to hold it. I recommend you to buy a cheap pad like this and put some tape and put it there. It's not necessary that it should be good looking something. This is for function. And it's a risk to bring the camera into the Arctic, into the low temperature, with the moisture and all that thing. But why did you bought the camera? Did you bought them for staying brand new in the shelf at home? Yes, leave them at home then. If you buy them for making picture, use your camera. Don't overprotect your gear. And then there is another piece of camera gear we had to talk about, and that's a telephone. My telephone is IP blah 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 safe, so it's dust safe and it should be moisture resistant. And then I don't need to be super careful with it, with putting it in and out from my jacket, because when I have it out here it's cold, and then I put it inside my jacket and then it's get moisture and warm. Sometimes it acts strange when it's super low temperature, it can't focus, and I've heard people saying it's because the lens freezes inside, the focus thing freezes inside, and it could also be because you get condensation or frost on the screen and it's not reacting as it should react. I have no idea. I know that the telephones sometimes don't work in low temperature. Put it close to the body, heat it up, and try again. Is there something I have forgot to mention about camera gear and low temperature? Is there something you want to add? Please leave a comment or just say hello in the comment field. It helps the algorithm. I'm super happy that so many of you watching at our videos, and I'm super happy for all the thumbs up and the subscribe things. Yeah. See you next video. Ciao.